Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Final Touches Thursday and we're going to put a few different final touches here on this wonderful page that we've been coloring. I did get the bottom area finished up here with the plants and the little road and the little houses. I also finished up the tree. So as you can see in this area here, we have the area where we want the moonlight to be hitting. So I'm going to take an eraser pencil here. I have put a bit of yellow down under the brown. So it's going to come up a little bit more of a yellow tone after I erase some of this. So I'm just taking the eraser pencil and just eliminating some of the darkness of the tree where that moonlight is going to be hitting the most. Like that. You don't have to do a whole lot, just a little bit so that it looks like the moon is cascading down to this mushroom area. Every once in a while I'm wiping off my eraser so that I'm not getting a redistribution of the brown. And there we go. And that is the area all set up and ready for the moon to be colored. And we're going to color the walkway, the bridge, as well as the water. So let's get started on that. I'm going to switch you over to the close-up camera. And we're going to turn the light on so that I can see what I'm doing. You guys can see what I'm doing. I have had to go back to my original headset, so I apologize if it is picking up a lot of breath or anything like that. Unfortunately, until I get a new headset again, that's what we're going to have to do. Alright, so I'm going to grab this one here, which is Midnight Black and Cloud Gray. What's this one? Oh, that's Mars Black. That's got a little bit of red in it, and I don't want the red. And I need another gray. Where's my other gray? I might have to grab one out of here. Cool dark gray from the, I think that's a little too black. I know I have a medium black here, or gray here somewhere. Where did I put it? And this is what happens when you don't put your pencils back where they belong. Yeah, okay, so we'll use granite for the medium black, medium gray color. Alright, so we have a dark, a really dark, and a light. Actually, this is lighter than that one, so we'll start with this one. Just putting down the light color first because we're going to build that color up. And the light color is just going to be in those areas that the sun or the moon is going to be hitting things. And I will be adding a tint of yellow to it. Not a whole lot because it is the moon, it's not the sun. Just a little bit just to show that it's a light source area. Basically, that's what I'm doing with the lighter color here, is just showing where the light is. And we're going to bring in this darker color in our shadow areas. so. And then we'll bring in the midnight black, which has got a touch of blue in it, and fill in the rest of those really shady, shadowy areas. And then we'll take our light again and we'll just smooth it out, leaving that top area fairly light, but darkening this lower area, like that. I'm going to zoom you in so you can see a little bit better, maybe. Alright, let's move you in a little. Just because it's such a small area. There we go. There we go. Alright, so you're all moved in and focused up. Hopefully you guys can see better than me. So once again, I've already put down the cloud gray. Now I'm going in with the granite to darken that up a little bit and put in those details. And then I'm going to take the midnight black, which has a bit of blue in it, and do our really, really shadowed areas. Leaving that top area fairly alone so that it can show that moonlight. Then we're going to take our cloud gray again and we're just going to fill that in. Like so. That part we're leaving alone. Just going to put in a bit of a shadow there, and here, and here. Basically, we're just doing little stone pillars in gray tones. Just little concrete stone pillars type of thing. Of course, I know they're not concrete because, they're little fairies, live in mushrooms. Why would they use concrete? There's plenty of rocks around. Although, I'm quite sure that they could figure out how to use concrete. Not saying they couldn't, I'm just saying they might not. So I hope everybody has had a wonderful week. I have received an email from one of the lovely ladies that won the Christmas giveaway, and she's quite pleased with her package, which is great. I was a little bit worried that they were disappointing because I wasn't able to wrap everything. But because I didn't tell anybody what's in them, it should make things interesting for them. So now I've let the cat out of the bag. The packages have been sent. I wasn't going to tell anybody because I know one person that did win a prize gets antsy when she knows things are on the way. She gets impatient, so I didn't want her impatient. She knows who she is. All right, so I went through with the midnight black and put in the mud for in between the stones, the grout. And I think I'm going to take a little tiny bit of red for these bricks, just a little bit, for these little ones in the bottom here. These ones up here would be stone, but these little ones might be a little bit more than stone. So we're going to come in here with some of that black and just darken up shadow areas there. Same with down here. Make sure I've got all that grout filled in. Now this is the back side of the bridge, so it's further away from the moonlight, so it's not going to be lit up as well as that side. So we're going to darken up some of this a little bit, just to make sure that our shadows are adequate. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this red brown, so this is ruby earth. I think I need to sharpen it. So we're almost all done with this one. I've still got the doors and of course the grass and the other little bits, but that will hopefully be all done today. Tomorrow we have some happy mail to look at, which should be fun. Some Christmas presents that have come in the mail a little bit late, which is always fun. And possibly something I ordered last month is supposed to arrive sometime either today or tomorrow, so hopefully it'll come in today. Alright, now this area here, I need that gray black color because this is that other pillar. Just going to darken that up a little. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to take our Splendor blender. Where is it? And we're just going to blend this together a little bit. I'm going to leave some of the white spot for texture for the stone. Because stone has that texture, so I'm just going to do a little bit of it, especially on the grout areas that I want to be darker. And areas that I've put a little bit of a blend where I want that to finish blending together. Like that. Alright, so there is our little bridge. And I know it doesn't look a whole lot to you guys because it's definitely grays, but there's our little bridge. Now I'm going to take some aquatic colors as well as some darker blue colors and some yellow colors. So I need this one, and I need a darker one. Dark, 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 dark. Where is this one? Ocean blue. There we go. As well as this one. So we've got some sunlight or moonlight coming down onto the river here. So I'm just going to put in a little bit of a light area coming down the river here because the moonlight's going to be hitting it. Now we've got to remember that there's going to be a shadow underneath the bridge. So I'm going to use the ocean blue under the bridge for that shadow. Okay, I was going to say maybe my camera's in black and white, but that is a very dark blue, so. So I'm just going in with the sapphire blue into that ocean blue, brightening it up just a touch, giving it a little bit more blue color. Then we're just going to go over it again with the ocean blue. Like I said, there's a shadow here. So we want that shadow to stand out a little further than the bridge. And we are going to arch it like the bridge. And then we're going to bring that shadow down into the edges of the pond and the river. There is some grasses here, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. There's some rocks here, so I'm just putting in a little bit of a movement there. Little tufts of grass I'll go through and do a lighter color just to get those tufts of grass sorted out there. Now I'm going back in with that sapphire blue. Just turning that dark color into a lighter blue. Coming out from it into the river. Now because this is a night scene, the most of the light that you're going to see on the river is going to be reflection from the moonlight and from the stars and all the other lights around. So it's going to be quite dark on the water, but there will be some light areas that we will blend into it. So now we're going to take our turquoise green and we're just going to fill that in a little bit. We're going to bring that down, coming out of our sapphire blue there. And some of these waves and movements in the water I will use a white gel pen on just to show movement. Because different movements in the water will catch the light. Even if it's a distant light, it will reflect it because that's what water does. Especially moving water. Moving water will pick up more light than water standing still. So water standing still will become more of a mirror, but water moving will pick up little bits of light and reflect them. Alright. I know today's video is much later than my normal videos would be. I was helping out another YouTuber with different aspects of how to do things. She's a very new YouTuber, so of course if you want to check her out, her name is Leslie Ladyhawk. So I will leave her channel link in the description below. Like I said, she's a very new YouTuber. She's a lovely lady, so make sure you go and check her out. Now, as you can see, the areas where I put that light color, when I go over it with the darker colors, it lessens that darker color and creates that lighter effect there. So I'm just going in now with the turquoise green. The first one I used is that sapphire blue. I'm going in with the turquoise green. I'm not going to use that darker color up here because of the fact that the moon is hitting it more so that it doesn't have as much of that shadow color in it. Alright, now we're going to take the, oh, I didn't even show you that area. Sorry guys. Now we're going to take the ice blue again, or the light aqua, sorry, and we're just going to blend it together a little bit more. Going around the rocks and putting in that streak of light coming down off the moon. Now I do want to put just a touch in the crevices here. Just a little bit in those crevices. Don't need to do as much as on the other side, but just a little bit. Just to separate the bank from the water. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to take our granite color here, and we're just going to put in the stones. Alright. And we're going to take our Splendor blender here, and we're just going to flatten out what tooth we didn't use. Bring those colors all together. Finding that the Splendor blender does work really well with the Derwent. The Splendor blender is the Lyra blender pencil. It's a little bit smoother than the Derwent blender pencil, so it burnishes down those white spots really nicely. Which of course is what we want to do at this point. Of course I will be re-adding them with white pen, but some of the areas I want it to be really smooth. Transition into the other colors, like here at the edges. Alright, sorry guys, didn't realize I was off camera again. So once again, this was the ocean blue, the turquoise green, and the sapphire blue, as well as the Arctic or light aqua blue green color to do the water. To do the stones in the water, I just used the granite from the Light Fast. Alright, there we go. Now I'm going to take the, just going to show you because I'm not going to do all of it. I'm just going to do a small bit of it so that you can see what I'm going to do with the edges here. I just need the smaller pen. Okay, so there's little areas in the water that are showing some movement. So we're just going to give a little bit more movement to them by adding a little bit of white. Like that. I'm trying to tone down some of it so it's not, just gashes of white. And you can do that just by dabbing your finger on it, or you can take a bit of a brush and dab a little bit of a brush on it so that it's a little bit softer. So you don't have solid lines, just a little bit of movement. And I'm just dabbing my finger on it just to flatten it down and spread it out a little bit. Like that. Okay, and now we're going to leave that alone before I ruin it. Alright, so there is our bridge and our little river. Now for the embankment, we're going to take Van Dyke Brown, and we're just going to fill that in. Because this part here is dirt. Oh, that's a leaf. I just colored a leaf in Van Dyke Brown. So be careful. The thing is that we don't see until it's too late. just going in and making sure that I have all the little edges colored. And then I'll come back through with a darker brown and do the shadowy, edgy areas. A little bit more red and that sort of thing. Okay, and then we're going to take this one, which is sepia. I'm going to sharpen this so that I get a good sharp point. So that when I go into those really deep areas, it comes out a little bit better. Because these are really, really tiny. Try not to color the leaves. Alright. I think that's it for the edges of the water there. Maybe a little more down here. Okay. Then we're going to take our sepia and we're just going to fill in this path, because it's a path through the grass and it looks like a very well traveled path to get water, so it will be a trotted path. So what that means to me is it's a rut of dirt that has been worn into the grass. All right, what else do we need to do here? Okay, so this looks like dirt here. So I'm just going to put in a little bit of dark brown here. Once again, I'm still just using the sepia. This is just a shadowy type of color to do the dirt areas with. At least the darker areas of the dirt area. Okay, then we're going to take our this one here. This one is brown ochre. And I want sienna as well. Sienna has a little bit of a red to it. But still has that brown, creamy brown color to it as well. Sharpen it up and we'll fill it in. And we'll bring that down into that grassy area. Because we all know that around roots of trees and that sort of thing, the grass doesn't grow right up to the root of a tree. There's always a little area of bare dirt under it. At least in my experience with trees. Very rarely does the grass grow all the way up to the root of the tree. Now, I could be wrong. This is just, in my experience, that's the way I have seen them in growing up with around trees. So now I'm just doing up into that little tunnel there with the dirt, as well as down this root here. Alright, now we're going to do just the base coat on this path. And then we're going to go a little bit darker on it. And a little bit darker on the edge as well. Of course, the moonlight is hitting the center area of the path, so we'll leave that a little bit lighter. And we'll go back through and do the footprints with some black. I don't know whose footprints they are, but there's footprints in it, so that's what we're going to do. And this one here, I'm not going to blend out. I am going to leave it grainy like that because, of course, it's supposed to be dirt. So we are going to leave the grains of the dirt alone. So once again, just going over top of it, just putting in that base cover. Coming down off of the mushroom house here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. There, that's better. And I'm just basing it. I'm just putting down a light layer of the lightest color here. Then we're going to take the medium color and we're going to fill it in around the edges, areas that we know are going to be shadowed. Like so. I'll move you on up here. Hopefully I don't take too much of your time today. Now I went over it first of all with the brown ochre. Now I'm going through with the sienna. I keep on forgetting that people like to color along, and I keep on forgetting to tell you what colors I'm using. How rude. Sorry, guys. I keep on forgetting. It's like, why would anybody want to color along with me? My brain has not grasped that concept yet. Alright, now we're going to take our darker brown, and which is the Van Dyke brown, and we're going to fill in that shadow. sure that we get the dirt walkway here, but try to leave some areas that are light from the lantern. So I think there needs to be a little bit more light here in this one spot from that lantern. Alright, now we're going to come down here onto the walkway again. Put in those shadows. So far, I've used the Derwents all week, and of course I've used them a small amount previously because I was sent a couple of different ones. And so far I really like them. They are definitely one of those build-up color pencils, which is not a problem. But they are extremely well pigmented. I wish I had all of the colors before I start playing with them more, but we're still waiting. So once the rest of the colors come in, I will probably do one more coloring with them. Well, I'll do more coloring with them, but one more coloring with them on the channel for us to see how all of the colors look together. Well, not that I use all of the colors at once, but just so that we can see what colors are missing and how they would work in cohesion to the colors that we already have, or that I already have, but you know what I mean. I'm really hoping there's a few more pinks, because pinks and purples seem to be very lacking in this set, but that's okay. Alright, now I'm going to take the black, if I can find it. There it is. And we're going to do our little footprints. Like so. And then I'll show you how I'm going to do the grass. And I'm going to finish the rest of it off screen. The flowers I'm going to do with a gel pen. Alright. Now for the grass. So we've got our walkway all done and our river done. I'm going to switch you over to the main screen so you can see everything all in one. So there we are so far. We've got our pathways from our houses. We've got our pathway coming across the bridge. We've got our river and our river bank. Now I'm going to do a small area of the grass back here so that you can see how it's going to be done with the moonlight hitting it. So I'm going to grab 3 different levels of green, a medium, a dark, and a light. I'm going to switch you back over to the close-up camera, and we're going to start here into the dirt area with our dark green. This is vivid green, and we may even want to go a little bit darker than that. Let's actually go a touch darker than that with a little bit of racing green. Just at the very edges here where it's being shadowed by that dirt. Alright. Then in this area here, we're just going to take a little bit more of that racing green because we're going to start blending it out into the lighter color from the moon hitting the grass. Just putting it into some of those shadowy areas. There's all different little plants and little grasses and that sort of thing that are going to be colored over with some of these greens. So right now I'm just putting in the shadowy type of green areas. You know, those areas where the light is going to show a little bit but not enough to do it in a really light tone. Alright. I got a few different little hills and valleys here. I'm going to sharpen this because I'm going to do the flicks for some of the darker grass areas where the grass is longer. And of course my camera's not picking things up the way they should because, you know, why not? It's always have to have something wrong. Now because this is a nighttime type of thing, I'm not too concerned on making the grass light. I just want to make it visual that it is little grass blades. There we go. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing over here. And then we're going to get into the trickier part. So the trickier part, of course, is making sure that it is visual, that there's some lightness because of the moon being full and shining down on things. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to take our medium green and we're just going to go right into the darker greens and we're going to extend it out into those areas that look a little lacking with detail. The reason for the lack of detail there is because that's going to be an area where the light is going to be. So we're going to use grass green first, and then we're going to use grass green 70% and a little bit of yellow if the grass green 70% isn't light enough. If that makes sense. If not, you will see it here in just a moment. So I'm just going into those areas where we want that darker color and extending it out just enough for it to stand out as a different level or layer. And you guys can barely see anything I'm doing. I am so sorry. I don't know why my cameras do this. Every time I start recording, I'll check them. They'll be fine. And then they say, nope, you're going to record now, so we're going to make you work for it. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put in the lighter color. Everywhere that moonlight is going to be hitting. I'm not too concerned about the flowers or anything like that, because you're not going to see a whole lot of them unless they're clustered and glowy, which we're going to do with some of them. Well, I'm going to do with some of them. I can't show you on this coloring because I haven't gotten to that point yet. It's one of the last things I will probably do, and I might finish it off with that on Saturday so that you can see how I do that. So before we choose another page from a different book of Karen Myers, what I might do is I might go through and show you how I'm going to do the glowy flower beds, because there's a couple of them that are pretty good. It's not hard, it's just going to be time consuming. So all right, so now I've put in the grass green 70%. Now I'm going to judge where this moonlight is coming down. So it's coming down in this area here. So I'm just putting in a little bit of that moonlight into the grass. And then we're going to take that light green again, which is grass green 70%, and we're just going to fill it in. And this is the way that the entire grass is going to be done. Of course, down here across the river, we're going to do it a little bit darker because the moonlight is going to hit certain areas, but it's not going to be as bright as it is up in this closer area. The further away you get, the more shadow you're going to get from the tree, from things like that. There is going to be a shadow here up to about this point here from the tree's root that's up here. But the mushroom covers that area quite well, so just putting in a nice layer of this grass green 70%. Getting that color built up. Like so. Now once again I'm leaving some white spot because I want that texture to show of the moonlight hitting the higher areas. Alright, and then we're going to take a little bit of the yellow we're just going to hit those higher hills with just a touch of the yellow. Like that. Now we're just going to go over it one more time. And then I'll switch you over to the other camera so you can see what we've done so far. And I will continue the grass because this is pretty much what I'm going to be doing. It's grass green 70%, a little bit of racing green, and the vivid green. For the moonlight, I'm using just a touch of yellow put into that grass color, giving it a brighter effect in those areas. And that's all we're going to do today. I'm going to switch you over to the main camera so you can see what's going on. So as you can see, in certain areas it's going to be a little bit brighter than in other areas. If you find that your brighter areas is more than you want it to be, just take your vivid green and you just go in and cut it down a little bit. The vivid green mixed in with the grass green will give you a good shadowy effect, but not make it too dark. If you find that you need it darker, just go in with your darker green and just darken it up a little bit. Like so. Alright guys, so there is our mushroom fairy glade. Almost all done. I will be doing more of the grass area off camera. I am going to leave this area here, all of the little flower areas until Saturday. We'll do up the flower areas and finish it off on Saturday and choose our next picture from the next book. Until then, of course, tomorrow is First Impressions Friday, and I do have a couple of products that I will be doing first impressions of. I have pinned down my page so that it doesn't curl. I noticed that with this paper it is starting to curl a little bit the closer I get to being finished with it. So be careful of that if you are coloring along. I'm going to turn this off so you can see this a little bit better. So what we've accomplished today is we've done our walkway. I did not blend the walkway, so it is has plenty of that white spot in it, giving it that moonlight reflection. We've done our bridge. Of course, I left the tops here with a little bit more white areas so that it shows the moonlight as well. In here we've added a bit of yellow so that we can see that moonlight moving down the grass from this area here. So it's going to come down here. Of course, this area here will be shadowed by the bigger mushroom as well as the smaller mushroom here. So this area back here is going to be lighter, sort of like this, and then this area up here will be darker like this. Of course, we've got a bunch of flowers here, so that will be different as well. So depending upon how I do the flowers themselves might make this area a little brighter. We'll see. And of course, we've got some more grass back here and some more flowers on the edges here, and then the grass here. And that will be it. Of course, I've got the doors and the windows on the fairy tree to do as well. But until then, tomorrow, of course, we will be going through the things that have come in the mail, as well as swatching and first impressions, that fun stuff. And yeah, other than that, guys, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber to the channel. Recently, we have started turning on subscriber only chat on our live streams. This is to eliminate the spams that have been going on. Uh, Basically, it's a bot that keeps on spamming weird things in everybody's chat. It is not, anything against anybody that isn't a subscriber, but it is one way for us to keep our chat free of spam so that the moderators can help you guys ask questions and things like that instead of having to deal with bots. Other than that, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe, everyone. I hope you have a fantastic day. And of course, I will see you again tomorrow and live on Saturday. Until then, bye bye for now.